Welcome back to this high-tech, low-life dystopia where fashion sense ranges from cybernetic chick to I found this in a dumpster, but it has Bluetooth. Mind you, this is part 2, so make sure to check out that video first. Thanks. We left off with our underdog David watching Lucy get hit on, but hey, at least he got to join Main's gang. But he won't stop pestering Main for new gigs and interrupting Main's romantic moments with Dorio. Such bad timing, David, gosh.
For now, to get him out of the way, Main assigns him as an errand boy for Mohawk Pilar,
who was getting touchy with Lucy the other night. Semi-unfazed, David heads to the address only to be greeted by Rebecca's gun-to-head action, her sweet voice contrasting sharply with her aggressive welcome. Ha!
Yo Pilar, take your package.
Ooh, shiny. After, David asks if there's anything else to do. Nah, Pilar wants David to buzz off because he's too busy playing with his shiny new claw hands and tells Rebecca to tip him, which burns her fuse since it was his package. We've got a sibling rivalry, everyone. She tips a hefty amount, making David jump in surprise. While leaving with a smug smile, he also gets a surprise call from Lucy inviting him out, making him feel even better. Apparently, it's only to join on her evening jog. She must, in other words, walk the dog, which was another one of Main's ideas to keep David from interrupting him. Also to help him bulk up for possible future implants. Despite these efforts, David still struggles with agility and quick thinking. During their next scavenging mission, his lack of speed and refusal to use the gun Main offered led to him getting a rough makeover, all while the rest of the gang handles the enemy. More bulking needed. The best part, David gets to see and chat with Lucy every day, plus good stamina can take him far, which he understands while on a mission when Rebecca gets captured by enemies for her foul mouth and bad temper. Using his cyberware, David rescues her in the blink of an eye, while the rest of the gang does some slicing, dicing, and head popping to finish them off. Main takes up a fatherly role for David, giving driving lessons, which quickly goes south when David crashes and gets chased by the police. Main, entertained, also teases David about his low crush on Lucy, and when David plays dumb, Main tells him to grow a pair. However, David feels Lucy doesn't feel the same way as him. Out on more runs, Lucy tells David about how Mohawk Pilar gets grabby at times, but there's zero attraction and she's able to put him in his place. A moment that leaves David grinning. David becomes a skilled picksocket and starts kickboxing training with Dorio, who regularly destroys punching bags with her show-off moves. As for Pilar, he's actually a pretty fun guy to hang with. Meanwhile, Rebecca attempts to teach David how to shoot, but he's too haunted by his mother's death to pull the trigger. Finally, after upgrading his lungs with the help from his sketchy doctor friend, David can now run effortlessly. Things are going great. David has friends now. He's slowly getting closer to Lucy. Ugh, wait, what's this guy doing? When you gotta go, I guess.
Something is off about this guy, but Pilar doesn't like hearing this poor pissing man pee, doesn't leave him alone and keeps blabbering when suddenly...
red confetti! Shit just got real. Main heroically saves David by pushing him out of a bullet's path. Rebecca, devastated by her brother's death, goes on a reckless rampage. Main has Kiwi zap her to prevent a fatal mistake. Big Man's arms stop working, rendering him useless as Psycho Man goes for Lucy. Crap, frying his brain won't work. Yo, David, where you at, bro? Using his Sandy, David quickly intercepts the cyber psycho before he can harm Lucy. Overcoming his trigger hesitation, he splats him. The dead psycho, nope, not dead yet. Luckily, Main steps in and beheads the troublemaker before Rebecca makes a mad mess. Main tells Dorio and David to whisk Lucy off to the dock to patch her up. After tending to her wounds, David drives Lucy home, and as she's about to say goodnight, David asks if they can talk. Sitting on the roof under a cloudy sky, Lucy admits that this whole time, she knew he was still mad at her for lying to him, but reveals that she wasn't lying about her moon aspirations. Well, that's good, but also, he reassures her, saying he wouldn't have fought that psycho if he held grudges. Lucy counters that David's bravery would have driven him to save her regardless of a grudge, since that's just how he is. David feels she doubts his potential as an Edgerunner. Despite Main's confidence in him, Lucy confesses she fears for his life more than she doubts his abilities. And to make her believe he won't die, David promises to take her to the moon one day, overwhelming her as one thing leads to another. Oh, and a rocket goes off in the background. Great timing on this slow love story, as David vows to stay alive for her. This boy has done it. He has become a man. And the next day, after some fatherly teasing from Main, the gang, tipped by Faraday, digs into Tanaka's activities. They learn that Tanaka frequently indulges in custom, often scandalous BD created by Jimmy Kurosaki, or JK, a popular braindance editor with a huge following. A braindance, often shortened to BD, refers to a cutting-edge tech enabling the recording and playback of an individual's experiences, encompassing their physical sensations, emotions, and thoughts, providing Decided they were recorded. It's a handful, I know, but this'll be important later. Realizing Tanaka is a customer for custom edits, this would require him to be physically present and, of course, alone. Because who wants to show their bodyguard their extreme brain dance fetish? The gang plans to get to Tanaka by capturing JK, with David posing as a distracting fan. Sadly, it backfires as JK has eyes on his nape and sees through their plan. He uses an EMP, knocking out David and Maine, and kidnaps David after sending Maine home. Dorio and Lucy track David via his tracker following JK. David wakes in an underground tunnel surrounded by corpses, a bloody gun in his hand. Mistakenly shooting cops in a panic, he suffers from cyberpsychosis, violently clashing with more police until the elite MaxTac force incapacitates him, blowing off his limbs, which horrifyingly transforms into weapons. As he pleads his innocence, a MaxTac officer aims at him, calling him a monster as everything fades to black. You might be wondering, what the heck is going on? David was trapped in a brain dance by JK, who's using Norris's traumatic memories to drive him towards cyberpsychosis, hoping to seize David's military-grade cyberware with the pre-installed cyberdance scroller, the Sandy. Despite the intense brain dance assaults, David resists breaking down as JK gears up for another session. Lucy and Dorio burst in, disrupting the brain dance and taking JK hostage. When JK counters with bulletproof drones, David distracts them, enabling Lucy to disable the drones and subdue JK, forcing him to comply with the gang's demands. David is put on duty to watch JK, having an honest chat with the guy about how David believes he's different. JK tells him that one day, whether he likes it or not, he will fall like Norris did. Nah, shut up, JK. David's special, he'll be fine. Whatever you say, just be prepared when you lose yourself forever. On board, JK contacts Mr. Tanaka to pick up his custom BD as per the gang's plan. As Tanaka arrives, a chaotic fight breaks out. Despite a jammer-up, Tanaka fights, firing needle shots and tossing Maine around. They manage to subdue Tanaka, but not before one of his needles fatally wounds JK, triggering an alert to the trauma team due to his premium medical coverage. With no time to waste, Maine hoists Tanaka on his shoulder, and the gang makes a hasty retreat. Few days pass, and Maine's arms have started to give him trouble, and he has started showing early signs of cyberpsychosis, which doesn't go unnoticed by Dorio, as he lashes out at her when she suggests reducing the amount of cyberware he has. Maine also has hallucinations, and under the influence with impatience, he knocks out Kiwi, who was mid-session information diving in Tanaka's complicated brain. She's rendered unconscious by Maine's crazy attack. Falco and Dorio work hard to control Maine, and once he regains his senses, Falco knocks him out for what he did to Kiwi. Falco calls David and Lucy. Dorio explains Maine's mishap and they now need Lucy to replace Kiwi for the mission, as they can't risk calling it off with Arasaka on their trail. Lucy, still wary of her past with Arasaka, agrees to help but demands Maine's exclusion. David is tasked with guarding Mr. Tanaka while Lucy performs a deep dive into his mind, but during the session, Tanaka wakes and tries to sway David with promises of a nice future with Arasaka, creating a moral conflict for David. As Lucy investigates further, she discovers the alarming plans Arasaka has for David. David hesitates to knock him out, leading to Mr. Tanaka's neural fryout while Lucy is still connected. With no choice, Dorio and Maine intervene, acting swiftly to disconnect Lucy, saving her. Maine is unhappy with David slacking off, but David blames Maine's temper tantrum that forced Lucy into this position. With their jammers fried from the short circuit and now visible to the trauma team, the group needs to escape quickly. Dorio slaps bring David back to focus, and they initiate their escape plan. David and Lucy getting the car ready while Dorio and Maine stall the authorities. Dorio and Maine overpower the NCPD until Maine starts hallucinating despite taking meds, and then goes on a killing spree, even shooting at Dorio. He has fallen victim to cyberpsychosis. Dorio realizes and jumps to protect him but is shot dead by the NCPD. Distraught and unrestrained, Maine brutally kills Mr. Tanaka and attacks the trauma's team helicopter, causing it to crash. As the situation escalates, David, initially in the car with Lucy, decides he must save Maine and Dorio despite Lucy's concerns that MaxTac has arrived. But David just wants Lucy to believe in him as he speeds away. He finds Maine, who initially fires at him but then recognizes him. Maine informs David of Dorio's death. As he prepares explosives around her body, he tells David that he has accepted his fate. David then attempts to persuade Maine that they can still escape, but Maine insists David leave and asks him to keep running. As MaxTac forces arrive, David can only watch as Maine's life ends, traumatically. Poor guy. It leads to a massive explosion, sending tremors in the entire building. Lucy thinks she has lost David after her attempts to reach him go unanswered, but he returns carrying Maine's cyber arms. It's okay. You need a hug? Maybe some tissues? Here are some other videos you should check out, to cheer you up a bit. We've got more content coming soon, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. See ya.